Styles P, on my expert opinion, says he would have shot Beans and Hove at the same time, not 50. Let's talk.
You know why? Because you're a good guy, asshole. He's a guy who, like, it's not even, to be honest, me and like I enjoy his rhetoric probably more than anyone. Mm-hmm. More than anyone who's out, artist, fan, or anything, because I feel like I know why he's crazy, and he's mastered the line of being crazy and dealing with the business at the same time.
Right.
All right. If we're trying to guess who he's talking about, I would say he's talking about 50. I don't think you put a crazy or any type of hostile or whatever on Jay. Just never been Jay's thing. I say he's talking about Fifth. And it's a fact. Fifth's master to, work his way through the game without changing a thing. Stood up to who he had to stand up to and did what he had to do to keep it moving. The resilience is spoken for when it comes to 50 Cent. You see what he's doing now. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Jay. There's always something else for them to do beyond music. That's businessman shit.
Right.
He's a negative positive guy. Yeah, like, he's a 180 guy too. Like, I think he just
polarizing.
Yeah, I think he's mastered how to do it in the business way. Me, spiritual way, him, business way. But he's a guy who knows the trenches. Right. He's a guy who knows what it is to be rough and fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you.
He's a little colder than me at sometimes. Mm-hmm. There's some things he does that I would never do.
And I could tell you what that is right now. Like, they definitely not in agreement with, how he talks about dudes when dudes get, football numbers in prison. But everybody goes to war the way they go to war, and those dudes are his enemy, and people try to take your life. They don't win. You win. You want to see them suffer. It is what it is.
But at the same time, mine and his story ain't the same, so I kind of understand why he may be that way. Mm-hmm. But I feel always as a G.
I think it's the same mentality that Styles had in another clip from this interview where he talks about he got jumped once real bad, and after that, he was out to hurt you. And he was going to strike first and he was going to hurt you. And I feel like that's how it is with Fifth. You came at him that hard. You try to take his life. Now it's fuck you forever.
And you went to war with that kid.
We didn't go to war with 50.
We started with Joe.
You don't call it.
I would have shot Beans and Hove at that time. Wouldn't have shot 50.
Why?
Yeah, I want to see what the difference is. And I'm sure it came close a bunch of times between Beans and State Property and ROCAFELLA and the Locks.
There was no emotional ties into it.
Beans and Hove, you guys already had
loved them
from the Hard Knock Life
tour. Was on the thing. 50 was on tour with us too.
Facts.
Yeah, wow. 50 was on a Rough Rider Cash Money tour. He was opening that. And I got to see him a few times.
Piece of hip hop history right there. 50 was on the Hard Knock Life tour.
Meet him. Really liked the dude. I knew his story. Like, you know what I mean? I knew his story before he made it on how he was, where he was from, and I heard it from a few certified dudes that wasn't really on. So it kind of like, I fuck with dude, like, you know what I mean? But I didn't know he was gonna make it like that. Like when I don't even know if y'all know, but like it's a song I think called "Shot Down." It's a DMX song with me and DMX.
You don't live that, so you shouldn't say that. Cause less more talk will get you shot.
Damn, I made that the day I got out the pen.
That shit's hard.
Don't live X.
The first day I got out the pen, and it was like, let me say my shit because I see where this young fella's going and what he's doing. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think I was I can't remember what my first line was, but it was pretty much to him.
You got shot, something you just got nipped. That's what we told him. He just got nipped.
One of those shit. You ain't get shot and you ain't dead. You got nipped.
You got
right.
nipped, nigga.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know what I mean?
I ain't nipped him 9 times real good. Survived it.
From watching what they was doing. So I was like in the pen. I'm hearing case slays. I'm hearing everything that's going down. I'm locked up. I'm like,
Rest in peace, K. Slade. Yeah.
he's over. He's
Rest in peace, K.
doing
Slade.
what he got
Drama King.
to do.
Right.
And I really loved Banks at that time. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
he's fucking a beast.
He was a
Banks.
lyricist.
That, I'm like, 150, you could tell he was from where he was from.
Right.
You could tell he wasn't bluffing. It's something about you get a kick out of people when you know, when you come from certain places, like, okay, they ain't bluffing. He'll do that shit. Like, and so it was like every time I heard him, I got a real kick out of it and a laugh out of it. Like, I fucking like this guy. Like, you know what I mean?
And
He
then
was saying shit that was just kind of making me like, damn, I like this guy. Like,
You can relate to it.
Yeah.
I could relate. He's a piece of shit. That guy's a piece of shit.
Right.
That guy's a
relatable.
work,
Yeah.
piece of work. He don't give a fuck.
Right.
This is what we know. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we was doing Shot Down, I got out the pen, I think that day, and they called me to the studio, and I was like, nah, fuck that. They working a little too much hard, and they kind of ignored me, and I was good on that. That was like cool, but it was never personal with them because we didn't have no personal ties with them.
Right.
I had a lot of love for ROCAFELLA, like, you know what I mean? It was personal. Like, I wanted to see them win. I wanted to see what we knew each other. We knew our stories were the same. We was kind of.
They basically grew up together. If you think about it, man, all of these guys got in the game as teenagers. All of these guys got to the fame as teenagers. They all came up from the blocks, different blocks from different boroughs, different hoods, different states. They built a rapport with each other. They went on tour with each other. You know, you go to like people, you go to become friends. Then when the shots start flying, then you see who's who. Shit gets personal. You never know what's next.
Coming up at the same time, I felt Beans was like us, but from Philly.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? You already know what Hov and Dame and them was doing. Like, so it was kind of just that was more personal for me.
How did it start?
Kiss and Hov just kept being on the same remixes and something happened. It just felt like they was aiming at Kiss for me. Kiss is our Derek Jeter. Like, you know what I mean? He's the
closer.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Now, I love that relationship with those guys. Those guys, they love playing their positions. They know when to play their positions. They know when to put who out front. They know when to put who in the back. They don't air their dirty laundry in front of the world. Gotta respect the Locks for that. Always gotta respect the Locks for that.
Yeah, so it's like kind of, but where we from, you fought with one of us, you fought with everybody.
Right.
And it started getting a certain way, but just turned out that way. And when it turned out that way, it was like, fuck it. Like it was kind of backstages things and certain shows and certain energy.
Oh, that was happening in person.
Hold on. But on record, y'all niggas started.
On record, it started. It's like darts being thrown, remixes, and
Because
Right.
just had the
it's
joint
not
with
out
Mario.
there. But it's
No, I know. No. That's the first thing that popped in my head.
But I think we was somewhere at a show, and one of our peoples or one of our folks floated into today's scenery, and it used to be all love. Now it's not all love, and then it kind of
They had that stray dog, man. Ended up surrounded by the other pack, evidently.
somewhere like Delaware or some crazy shit, and then I just remember it again to fuck it. Like,
So there wasn't no specific incidents you could be like, this happened and that's why.
well, they kept being on the same songs and the vibe felt wrong. It's like the hood.
The Fiesta and all of that.
It's like the hood. Like, it's when the vibe goes wrong.
Right.
There's no certain instant it's no energy, no one thing where nobody could pinpoint it, but the energy just went off,
Yeah.
and that
Sparked it.
I get it.
that builds up.
We went from whole shouting y'all out. I might bark at X and spit at the box, but other than that,
I'm
I'm
fucking with cats.
we went from that to use. I would have shot beans, you know.
Yeah,
Well, that was
because of that.
Because of the love.
You can't make love go wrong sometimes.
Mm.
When love goes wrong, like,
Because that feels more like betrayal. You can't feel betrayed by somebody you don't have ties with. They didn't have ties with 50. They couldn't feel betrayed by 50. They had ties with Jay and Beans. You could feel betrayed by Jay and Beans. You know what I'm saying? That makes it all that much more personal.
like I said, we didn't have no. When it came to the G Unit beef, it was kind of like fun for us. It was like,
Hit the studio.
it's what we do.
Yeah.
It's what we do. Either way this shit goes,
We're good.
we're good.
It's a win-win. 50's the biggest thing in the world at the time. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta go back and listen, but I feel like there was more vitriol and more disrespectful words thrown at Fifth during that beef than there were at Jay and them. But yeah, if you're gonna pick a fight with the Locks lyrically, you know, those dudes are ready for war at any moment. 50 was the biggest thing in the world at that time. All it could do is raise all ships, that beef.
Right.
How it's gonna go? You wanna go lyrically, or you wanna go outside? Either way, we don't really give a fuck.
Right.
That's who we are. That's what we stand on. That's what we brought to this. This is what y'all know about us. This is what everybody knows about us. If LOX is there, D Block is there, ain't no security. We're gonna rumble. We're gonna do what we gotta do, and we're getting up out of there. Right. So, and he was so big, and then the magnitude of what was going on was more like, this is bad for him. We kind of not them dudes.
Right.
Everybody else is.
Right.
Not us.
Right.
Okay. We cool with it. Like,
right. We're gonna go forever.
We're gonna fuck out which way this goes. Like, well, we
Win-win.
wasn't emotionally invested in it. It was more like,
it's a win-win situation, man. You going at it with the giant in front of the world for everybody to see and hear what's said.
Fun.
Right.
Y'all see something, we give it a day. We give it a day. Couple hours, get on this, and hope we see them outside, and it is what it is. However it pans out. But with Beans and Hove, it was more like, I got a lot of love for them. Those like homies and this and our story, we came up, so it was more like, and at that time, it was more so like,
That betrayal is always gonna cut deeper than any. You can get into a beef with a dude at a gas station that you don't know and it don't mean much. Don't get it fucked up. You might lose your life over it. But when you get that betrayal for somebody that, you know what I'm saying, that you was coming up with in the game, or you was coming up with in life, that betrayal cuts deeper.
I got 2 guns on me every day, not because of them, just because of life.
Right.
So all that plays part. By the time we got to 50, it was more mature, more elevated, more we've been through, a little more seasoned.
Wasn't that over the Ja Rule, New York? Because Jada was on New York, so then 50 turned around and dissed everybody who was on New York. Because Fat Joe was on the piggy bank. Fat Joe caught it.
It was inevitable to happen anyway because he was on his bully.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
2 big dogs in the yards eventually gotta have to meet.
Yeah, they don't clash.
Like, you the big dog, I'm the big dog. What we gonna do?
Can't be one. Can't be 2.
But Rockefeller wasn't no record that we can clearly see where it started.
Nah, that was more personal. That was more like, I love these things.
Moral of the story: betrayal is always gonna cut deeper.